Got to work in on that. And of course, tonight we're going to have the raffle. Where you at? Should be coming up here. She's going to bring the. She's going to bring me. Look at that. I made a little stand too for my phone, so. Out of wood. It's not great, but it'll do for now. What's going on out there in the world, folks? Just checking. You know, it's a little windy here today. Wind's died down. We're trying to. Man, I like that painting. Brian, what's up, big dog? Respects. Yeah, so I'm going to start work next Tuesday. And I'll have to spend my after work time painting. That's what, I really want to finish this thing. It's going to be nice to get caught up on things. Can you guys hear me? Because I want to make sure this phone stand, you guys can hear me. It's not blocking out the mic. She's on the computer taking care of some stuff, so I'm going to be working for someone rehabbing hotels, so homeless people have a place to live. All right, C. Wilson, thank you. Mr. F, Jeremy Moose, what's up, Moose? My brother, how you doing, bro? Big dog, Chris and Retro, what's up, brother? Greg Ayala, and just so you know, Jeremy Moose was my cellie in Lancaster, level 4 prison. And it's just another success story. Chris and from Louisiana, what's going on? Let's see here. Yeah. Mr. F, what's going on, brother? Yeah, so Jeremy and I, Moose, we used to play soccer together. I was a lot younger then. What's up, Big Mick? We're doing all right, Big Mick. So yesterday I went to the eye doctor. Share the link, let Moose on there with you. We might get Moose on here for an interview if he's down for it. But, he's living out in Texas now, and he's got his life together, and I'm very proud to hear that, man. It makes me feel good. It really does. He's doing big things. Yeah. So yesterday I went to the eye doctor. The goats are in their pen. Everything's cool. I take off. Came back a couple hours later, and the goat pen was open. Bowser was in there, like, just the big grin on his face. Justin, what's up? Everything's good. And I'm like, okay, there's all the goats, but we have one we call, respect to you, Brian, that's right. We had one we call Rowdy. And I go, where the fuck's Rowdy? Because Bowser has a tendency to hurt the goats. And I looked across the yard, and there was Rowdy, belly up, legs in the air. So while I was gone, Bowser figured out how to open that gate, and he chased Rowdy around because there was goat shit all over the yard. Aaron, what's up? What's up out in Dago, my friend? Yeah. So Bowser chewed the neck out of the goat, and the goat. Frank, what's up, Frank Rizzo? And the goat, he killed the goat. So that was a pretty cool goat. Out of all the goats, I think he was probably the coolest because he would let you pet him and hang out with him and nibble on your arm and shit. He was a pretty cool goat, but Bowser killed him. Man, this dog, we love him, but we're going to have to train him to be around goats without hurting them. That's the bottom line. He's a hunting dog. From what I understand, he's bred for hunting wild boars, so. Strange days. Yeah, there's no wild boars here, so I guess goats, and anything that runs from him, I guess he's going to look at as prey, Bowser has the keys to the yard, but Not for long. You know, he's gonna have to learn he can't just go around killing shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not cool. Gotta get a pump and race him. We do have a pup. We got Amber was a pup. She was 3 months old, and also, you know, it's a trip. Is the baby goat that we got a bottle feed. He sleeps in the same bed with her. You know, little doggy bed. He sleeps in the same bed with that little goat. I think it's the full-grown goats, man. He has a problem with, and he's a hunter. And when they run from him, he gets all excited, and you know, he tackles them and chews their necks out. So. I'm gonna have to get some steel fence posts, and they have a driver. Boom, 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 boom. You can drive them in, and I'm gonna blame you if you rolled it up too. Man, that's bullshit. Learn a job. You rolled it up too much bullshit. And you land a job. Good. Panoid, is that? Boyd 30313, you know. Brian Lutz, what's up, brother? You know, the system's weird now. Got paroled from the main line. It was a softy yard where they had the fucking long-term offender program. But I had gotten down to level 2, so, you know. Michito, big shout all the way to the East Coast from Queens, New York City. What's up, brother? I hope things are good out there for you. It's crazy. I see they have a lot of problems with illegal immigration out there. Man, hats off to you. Yeah, but the system now, man, it's like, you know, the prison guard I interviewed said that it was like 70% this and Y. You know, I don't know what's going on in there now. You know, they have all the guys out of the shoe and all that shit. So I'm just glad that I paroled when I did. And I talked to Rhino today, and the other day also. We're just blessed to be out here, you know. And I talked to Whack today, Troy Adams. Hey there, what's up? Hey there, Troy. I talked to Whack today, and so Whack has some problems with his spinal cord. He's got a condition called stenosis, where your spinal cord gets squeezed by your, I don't know if it's calcium deposits or whatever. Thank you, Pinoid 313. Timbo, what's up? I'm glad to be home. Yeah, so Wax doctor gave him a wheelchair to cruise around in. He said his spine is being constricted by stenosis, about 80%. So, you know, let's give some positive vibes once again, and some prayers out for Whack that he can get through this this medical infirmity with his spine, and and get better, because he, you know, he's got a couple young girls he has to support, and he has to support himself, and that's what he's always done. You know, once he got out of prison and decided he didn't want to go back and he was going to do things right, you know, he's been working and supporting himself. So let's give some positive prayers and vibes out for Whack. Big Whack. Whack Deuce. Get well, my friend. You know, the problem with the spine, it's not like, come on now, what's going on? Okay, here we go. It's not like, you know, oh, I got skin cancer, or I got a black eye, or I got a busted arm. You can't see it. That's right. See Wilson's view. You can't see the spine. So people say, oh, my back hurts, you know, and all. You think, in prison, you think, that guy's fake and trying to get some pills, you know. But, man, when your back hurts, when your back goes out, you're done, man. It's a nightmare. So let's give some prayers and positive vibes out for Whack. Yeah, so I'm going to start work on the 9th. It's a good job. It pays well. It's this particular job. That's right, Kenny. It's 3 months, and after that, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna have to travel a little bit for it, but that's all right. I like to work, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Um, and in this day and age, they say nobody wants to work, but uh, they put you through a lot of hoops to get jobs. Like I applied for this job in Loves. I applied for a job. That's right, Eric. I applied for a job at American Woodmark Cabinet Making Factory, and two surgeries and trying to avoid another one. Thank you, everyone. That's right, brother. And they just like, oh, we don't have your application. And, I know damn well my wife got on there and applied. So it's just like, what the hell. Nobody wants to work, but, nobody seems to want to do their job in the office, when you do apply. So anyway, this came through word of mouth through a friend, and I'm grateful. I really am. Words can't express how grateful I am. Yeah, it'll help us get caught up on things and get the wood shop up and build some fences. I got to build some fences. I'm gonna buy some steel pipe fence posts. Then they got a driver. It's like a pneumatic driver. That's right, Kenny. And it'll drive them posts in there. And we can build a fence around Billy Goat and put a proper gate up so Bowser can't kill him. And Sean Mike, stenosis is like sciatica, kinda. Only worse, because it's, sciatica is a bulging disc. I've had it. You can stretch it out, wait it out, but the sciatica, they have to go in there and ream out your vertebrae. Thank you, Whack. Yeah, so it's stenosis. They have to go in there and ream out the vertebrae to make room for the spinal cord. My aunt had it done successfully. Hopefully the Whack. And my father-in-law had it done, and he was up and walking the same day. I mean, but he's a tough old dude, so we'll see, So we're gonna have the drawing tonight. If you guys haven't gotten in on the drawing for the angry yard dog, we're gonna auction this thing off tonight. We're gonna do the raffle, gonna pull a ticket. So, and I think entered in, you got a pretty good chance to win because I think only 3, maybe 4 people tops bought tickets. So, you know what I'm saying? You gonna get her, babe? Yeah. So we got the little goat we've been bottle feeding. What's up, Charles Watson? How you doing? We had the little goat that we've been bottle feeding. She's been living in the house, and we got her out. We're trying to break her into the backyard. What's that say? Older bike. Took my Harley to shop, $3,200 later. Oh man, Mike. Man, that sucks, bro. Well, we're glad you joined us, Charles. $3,200, man. What are you having done to that thing? You having the motor rebuilt? Man, that's quite a taste of money. I went down to putting these kids to sleep, smiling. Good night, brother. You take care of yourself and that family of yours, brother. Yeah, I'm glad I finally got in touch with you. Yeah, so I went to Indy, got a new back tire. That's my 4th back tire. I got 24,000 miles on the bike in about 20 months. So that's about 6,000 miles of tire. I'm on my 3rd front tire, my 4th back tire. So stenosis in my C6 vertebrae tangle. I haven't had a kid surgery and progress as soon as better diagnosis. Wow. Can you stretch that out? Whack, if you're able to do some Tai Chi, there's a guy on Facebook, Tai Chi tips, and they have some pretty simple stuff, basically movement. Hopefully you can stretch it. Spinal cord's a motherfucker, man. It really is. Uh, stator motor, compensator, clutch, rear belt, chain. Wow, that's quite a lot of work. What kind of bike is that? Is that a twin cam or Evolution? Wow. Gallows Pole, what's up? Everything's good, brother. How's things in the 805? Glucose me, yeah, you got to stretch, big whack. Stretch that spine out, you know? Man, dude. So, I was tripping the other day, man. Like, you always come on here and say we got pretty shitty leaders in this country, and we do. And I was just kind of thinking, how's that relate to prison, and how, what about when you got guys on the yard that are shitty shot callers, right? Texas now 805 costing too much. That's right. We moved to Arizona, brother, from Placerville, so I can definitely relate. Yeah, what about when you got shitty leaders on the yard? I always let guys know, hey man, they go, I'm a shot caller on the yard, blah blah blah. And I go, well, just so you know, you don't call shots on me. I know how to do my time, and of course, that was always greeted with a frown, a sour look, or whatever. But I didn't say it. I would always say it like, hey, I know the fucking deal. I know how to do it. What's up, Big John? But what about when you got guys leaving the yard and got all the youngsters following him, and he's getting them in a wreck because he's a bad leader on the yard? Out here, it's getting us in a world war. So just imagine in there, to induce FX. The miles. Oh, wow. All right. Deuce. Well, maybe you want to trade that in and get you an Indian, $3,200 would be a decent down payment, Really, I'm just, that's a twin cam, no? 96 inches. So, yeah, well, what ends up happening when you have a fucked up leader on the yard is guys run up drug debts. Guys, got one for you, man. When I went in and, I'll probably get out of here. My cage add-on. Wow. I was in Sacktown for a bit, late 90s. So far, I miss fast action. So, Placerville, beautiful. Yeah, it is. It is beautiful. Sitting here listening to Merle Haggard, having a couple of beers and listening to you. Thank you, brother. Merle Haggard's a good motherfucker, man. Mama tried. Yeah, so that's what happens. People end up in a wreck, drug debts don't get paid, then there's usually a riot, with the race that's, Cajun back, sorry. Man, Troy. But, So Merle Haggard was in San Quentin, I think, for about 5 years. 3 to 5 years, I can't remember. So, and I think he saw Johnny Cash perform there. And I'm not certain, but I think Johnny Cash might have helped him out, but I know he inspired him. Merle Haggard was on the yard back in the 60s, in San Quentin, back when it was a real prison, I can't even imagine San Quentin with all the yards. Reagan let him out. Yep, Reagan let him out. I can't imagine the upper yard just being one big giant yard. That's crazy. That's crazy. But Merle was there, yeah, and got out and made something out of his life. Entertained us all. I love that song, Mama Tried. I liked a lot of his songs. Sing Me Back Home. He was a great entertainer, great songwriter, singer. He was fantastic, man. Rest in peace, Merle Haggard from Bakersfield. Shout out to Bakersfield. Yeah, back then you could learn stuff in prison. You could play the guitar. You could learn a trade. You could do an art program. You could do whatever the fuck, Metallica performed at SQ also, Mitch. Yeah, they did. They made a video there saying anger right before I got there. And there's a guy, Red, that was in that video. He was, you know, yeah, Red was there. He was in the video. So, what you got going on, babe?
I'm bringing your jar.
So, it just goes to show you, you know, Merle Haggard became a national figure. How you doing, Brian Wood, Mike from Purdue, California? Oh, you're out in Purdue. All right, bro. You shaking it up? She's shaking it up. All right, we're going to do the drawing right now for, if you didn't get your ticket, this is for the Angry Yard Dog. Yeah. Yeah. I know you guys been waiting. We were kind of waiting to see if anybody would pop in some more tickets. How many people bought tickets? Like 3?
5.
5?
I think 5 people.
5 people total. So should I cover my face or what?
Just put your hand in the jar.
All right.
Can you see the jar? I don't know if you get. Okay, there. Okay, put your hand in with your big old hand. You can't eat. Okay, grab one.
I got one?
Yep.
Just one?
Wait, hold on. Yeah, you got just one.
All right. What's that say?
Kelly Durant.
Kelly Durant.
Kel. I think that's Kel, right?
Is that Kel?
Yeah, that's Kel.
Kel, Canada. Kelly Durant.
Yeah. Yay, Kel.
All right, Kel.
So I want to thank Tashanka who
bought
bought
4
tickets. Sally Ross bought some tickets, and Tashanka.
Thank you, everyone who bought tickets for
Mike
the raffle.
Hamilton.
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
think I got everybody, and I think Big Goose did too.
Big Goose always buys tickets for our
know.
raffle. He's
That's
won
great.
twice.
Thanks everybody for
Thank you guys
doing
for
that.
contributing to the
Congrats,
raffle.
Cal.
Yeah, congrats, Carol. Kel, just so you know, Brian said hello, babe.
Hi, Brian.
Brian from Vegas.
Hi, Brian.
So just so you know, respects out to Kel. You know, he lost his wife. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He lost his wife to cancer recently, not too long ago, man. And he's been watching us and, you know, for quite a while. He rides motorcycles. He's been supporting our channel, buying shirts, tuning in on Facebook and Instagram also with me. So, hey, Kel, if you're watching or if you watch later, you won the raffle, brother. So, this is on paper, so I'm going to roll it up and put it in a tube and send it to you as soon as we get a chance. So, next raffle, I don't know what I'll do, but I'll have to do something, you know. So yeah, Merle Haggard just goes to show you, people can make something out of their lives, you know. Mike from Purdue, so, you know, I had a friend recently that I was in prison with, and me and Rhino were talking about him today. So we all worked on the saw crew together in Tracy and PIA, prison industry. So in the wood shop, everything that came into that wood shop, all the products that were made, it starts with a saw crew. We used to run 3,000 board feet of lumber through the planer. We had a straight line saw. What's up from Canada? Miss Treela, Liv. Thanks for tuning in. We had an inline saw, we had a cutoff saw, we had a shaper, band saw. So, like, we would take 1/4-inch plywood, cut it in 4 pieces, send it to the glue up room. They would glue it up and bend it. We'll put it with glue and put it in the oven to cook it, and then send it back to us. And we would cut it on the band saw, send it over to shaper, and then they would shape the seat backs and shit. So that's just one thing we did. Want to like, share? Oh, please like, share, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. So does sharing and liking. But anyways, all the computer workstations, chairs, student desks, it all started with the saw crew. And we would cut, 5 or 6 or 7 units of 1.1/8 particle board on the panel saw. And it was Glenn Gary from Modesto. Got a drop, man. Calling that. Good night, Aaron. Thank you for tuning in, brother. nothing but love and respects right back to you. And so Glenn Gary was from Modesto. He used to be a bar hopper. He's out. He has Parkinson's now. He's an older man and just a great guy. Bob Beeler was Korean War veteran. I told you about Bob. He said, Smiley, I'm a hitman, a gambler, and a pimp. And he was. And he's passed away while I was in prison. His liver went out on him. And Rhino and myself and Booger. And so Booger is in a motorcycle club. He's from San Bernardino. And, Booger was in prison for real for something that he didn't do. And just to give you the short of it, he was in a bar with his friend in Fresno. Town bully comes in. Someone told him, hey, it's a couple guys from a motorcycle club down there. So he pops in. He wants to start some shit. And Booger's co-defendant, who never got arrested, he shot the guy. They're both, Booger might have been 5'6". He was a little guy, and his co-defendant was also a little guy. And this guy was big as me or bigger. And so him and his friend and their old ladies are going out the front door. And the guy realizes he's been shot, but he hasn't hurt that bad. So he comes after him some more. And Booger's crime partners told him, you stupid motherfucker. And he shot him again, and the guy died. And so Booger got arrested. His co-defendant said, hey, I'm going to come and tell him I did it. And Booger told him, why? They're not going to let me out. They'll just lock us both up. So Booger rode the beef, and he did about 45 years. And he was taken care of very well by his friends. He got out. He was in his 80s, early 80s, so he passed away from a stroke recently. And, his friends and his brothers looked out for him all the way through his prison time and all the way after his parole. I think he was out about 4.5, 5 years. He said when he was young, he was a cute little booger. And then when he got older, he was an ornery booger. And then he was just booger. But he worked on the Saw crew with us. And me and Rhino were talking about him today. And that's the time that we remember. He did about 45 years, for something he didn't do. And his co-defendant wrote a deathbed confession, and they said, you guys, bike clubs will say anything to help each other out. And I didn't believe it, which, that's law enforcement's game, right? They don't believe nothing we say. But, last time I saw him was 2009. And, his philosophy was, I said, man, I sure would like to get out, Booger, but I don't think they're going to let us out. And he goes, you got to be somewhere on this planet while you're alive. And, it would be nice to be on the streets. But he said, we happen to be right here, and this is just where we're at. And that was his philosophy, make the most out of where you're at. And everyone asked me, how the fuck did you do 38 years in prison? And that's how I did it, by listening to guys like him. There's a few other guys, too. One of them lives nearby me, who's also in a bike club. He had some good advice and philosophies that I listened to while I was in there and still listen to this day. But, Rhino and I, we were remembering Booger as he was a young, I say younger man. He was in his 50s, but... we used to hobby together, and he did jewelry and I did wood, and I would ask him, hey man, can you make this thing for me, and like a tattoo thing or whatever, and he'd say, yeah, sure, but I had to hang out with him. Random question, but in many years of working, I've only had one male boss supervisor, just a female supervisor to start. Soon, a female supervisor to start soon, and I've only heard bad stuff about female management. Yeah, I know, Booger just died. He just died recently. 214 DDDT. I'll get to that in a second. So, whenever I ask Booger to make something for me, he would do it. Tattoo machine stuff or just stuff for hobby. If I had to hang out with him while he did it, which means I would kick it with him for like 3 or 4 hours in the hobby shop while he made this thing for me. Whatever I asked him to make, and I would hear stories, and you know, he was just an out of sight dude, man. He really was. Um, he told me a story about when he was younger. He used to get hash. He's from the generation where they took reds and smoked weed and hash and drank and yeah, Brian. And he said he had these hippies, man, and they had the best hash in the world and some LSD. And he would go up in the hills with these hippies and get a lot of hash from them, hang out, the chicks and all that stuff, and it was pretty cool. And and drink wine, smoke hash, and take LSD, and he goes, man, I made a mistake, but telling my brothers about it, and and he says some of them went up there with him, and he says they're all snorting crank and drinking whiskey and taking reds, and they turn the hippies on to reds, and then next thing you know, they're drinking whiskey and snorting crank and taking reds, and they're mad, they're fighting with each other, and they're slapping their old ladies around. And he said, man, it fucked the whole thing up, But that was a cool story, But yeah, he passed away, man. What's up, John Doe? He passed away, and his brothers were there with him to the end, man, and I'll miss him, and I'll always remember him. Just as a good dude, So hats off to Butch Booger Frazier from Purdue. Rest in peace, And it just goes to show you, man. They knew he was innocent. You ever been to Ohio? I've never been to Ohio. They knew he was innocent. They knew he didn't do it. When you commit a crime in a public place, people tell. But he was the one they could convict. Same with me. They knew myself and my other co-defendant didn't do the stabbing aspect. They offered us a manslaughter and offered the other guy a second-degree murder. So the cops and the DA, they know what people do in crimes usually. Made system standing solid principle all the way through. Thank you, T. Thank you very much. But yet they made him do like 45 years. If I'm not mistaken, he did like 45 years, man. And I just, it's pretty disgusting, man, because he was just a genuine good dude, Scapegoat tactics. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, like the pool that you and Adrian have for 25 bucks while I watch the video. Yeah, we're having a good time. It got deflated. I think one of the dogs popped it, but we had a good time for a day for 25 bucks, Yeah, so they know, They know, and yet they don't care, The district attorney in my case went on to become a very successful lawyer who prosecuted insurance cases and got one of the biggest insurance settlements in San Diego County. So that's what they do. They build a name and a reputation on our backs. And so hopefully, they'll get theirs on the other side, So, yeah, Big Mick said, I had a great time, and Tracy with Booger, big smile, that doing all that stuff you're just talking about. Yep. Mick was with Booger before me and Tracy. In the mid 80s, And Mick's another guy. He's been railroaded and fucked around by the system, for other people's behavior. But just because they can, they do it just because they can. And that's kind of what's going on in the world today. What's up, Oak Poacher? That's right, brother. What are you gonna do? I had a great time with Booger, and we were doing all the stuff you were just talking about, bro. That's right. Of course you were. But Booger was a mastermind, you know. Him and Glenn Gary they were a team. They were good dudes. So I did woodwork in a hobby. They did jewelry, and we worked in a wood factory, and so uh, I make toys, jewelry boxes, all that kind of stuff. Clocks, whatever. And so Glenn and Booger, they go, "Hey, you want some wood?" And I go, "Sure." And they go, "Well, what do you need?" And I said, "A little this, a little that." I'm Booger, my friend's brother, vice president for been to the clubhouse. Yep. Only times he went to the board and he would never admit to doing that's why they didn't. Yep, he would never admit that he did that crime, ever. You know? So it's that Mike, there's an older man there, Mr. Gaskins, give him my regards. He would never admit to doing the crime because he didn't do it. And the courts finally said that you don't have to admit to the crime. They can't deny you parole for not admitting to the crime. So, but excuse me, they finally let him out, and so anyway, Glenn and Booger, they're like, "You want some wood?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So in PIA we use pine, a lot of pine, Doug fir, which you make toys out of, and a lot of oak and poplar and alder. So Glenn took me down to the lumber area, and he goes, "Go ahead and pick out 5 or 6 boards of that oak." And I picked out like 6 or 7 boards of oak. He goes, "Put over there, and get some of that pine, that fir." I got some 2x10s, about 5 of those. Put them in a pile, and we went back to the shop, and so Glenn, he calls the forklift guy. The forklift operator went down there, picked that lumber up, and brought it to the wood shop. Has a back dock where a loading dock, So he brought those boards of oak and Doug fir down to the loading dock, and I cut it into pieces. So we had toilet paper boxes. A toilet paper box is about 2.5, 3 feet high, and about 2 foot square. It comes because they get a lot of shit paper for each building, So I cut it up into pieces about 30 inches long. Fill that whole box up with wood, and then Booger's like, "You need some glue?" And I threw a gallon of glue in there, threw a few router bits in there, a couple boxes of sandpaper, and we boxed it all up. And he goes, "All right," and then he had someone take it away on a pallet jack, and so Saturday, when we're in the hobby shop, the painter really damn it. We're in a bike right now, taking the starter off. All right, we'll get that bike running, brother. And so Saturday, when we're in the hobby shop, the cop went down to pick something up in the warehouse, and he slid into it is, Brian. He slid into the PIA warehouse, picked up the shit, and brought it back to the hobby for us. And next thing you know, there was that box full of wood and glue and shit. And I go, "Fuck yeah." So I got to do that about once every 2 or 3 months, Yeah. So that's how shit works, I would order $300 or $400 worth of wood. I never got to meet him. And so, but we get our kicks, from the carpenter shop or PIA, But I'm gonna tell you something, man. We work 4 days a week. We work 4 10s. We would go to work, we'd get a bump, and we'd cut wood all motherfucking day long. We had a panel saw, and they have, I'm going to be in the wind, I'll be, that's right, Tashanka. We would cut 1.1 particle board that I think it's 10 feet long and 5 feet wide. It's bigger than, and I know Frank from Bernardino for 45 years, Mike. That's right. And so we would cut 5, 6, 7 units of that particle board. And that was just like part of the day. That was like after lunch before we split. And we would cut, 2,000, 4,000 board feet of poplar. And that's all in one day. We took care of fucking business, man, and I love that shit, Bars to Bricks Ministries, what's going on? How you doing? Uh, yeah, so that was, I'm gonna tell you, till I know you know that, Purdue. So I went through milling cabinet. I had a few jobs, this and that, but that was my first real job after I finished the vocational milling cabinet, and I loved it. Kind of picture. Man, I'd love to have Tucker on here. Yeah, so we would work 4 days a week. We would go home, fucking covered in sawdust, take a shower, have dinner, and go to the hobby shop and cut wood in the hobby shop and make shit in the hobby shop. That was for me. But I made, 60, $70 a month in PIA, maybe 80, and then I would make, maybe anywhere from 500 to 1,500 bucks a month in the hobby, and then any nefarious activities I had going on. And I would give a lot of that money to my wife. I had a wife and a daughter. That's right. See Wilson View. Uh, I would go out to the visiting room and go here, and I'd give her, a few $100, or I'd mail her a few $100 home, or if we had a family visit coming up, I'd give her a couple $100 to buy the food. So that's what that kind of shit did for me. But having that job was just the best fucking thing, It just taught me how to work, and I thought, man, this is a shit, And after that, I had jobs like plumbing, but that job, because we had just the best crew, best dudes, and yeah. Wow. Yeah, busy hands are happy hands. That's right. It was just we had camaraderie. We knew when we went to work, we were going to get busy. We were going to drink a lot of coffee. Went on the Alex Jones show one time. That's cool. I like Tucker Carlson. Y'all know I met him, and Mick met him. We took some photographs together, and he's a good dude. He told me a story. If you knew Tucker Carlson's backstory, I lived in San Diego for a while. He used to go out to my neighborhood, and he's got quite a story. So, hey, Morgan, doing okay? Busting butt on the roof. Yeah, he's a good dude. He really is. And he was giving guys in a bike club his phone number, his personal address, all kinds of shit. So, and he comes from a pretty wealthy background. So he's a multi-millionaire, and for a guy's a multi-millionaire to go to a fucking funeral, celebration of life for a guy who's in an outlaw motorcycle club, I mean, that's saying something. He ain't bumping pinkies with fucking fags eating caviar. You know what I'm saying? What's up in New Zealand, Alex? Are you Alex I was going to do an interview with? If you are, please get at me at mitch@hardintentions.com, because I've lost track of a lot of shit. I really want to do that. Prison in New Zealand must be, yeah. If that was you, please contact me. I have not forgotten. I just lost track of my emails. I've had like 3 phones break. Man. Yeah, so I really, please email me so we can do that, Alex. I've had like 3 phones get ran over by cars in the last few months, and I'm kind of stupid. Patrick, David Humphreys, Tucker Carlson, 5-year, $100 million on Megan Kelly live show on YouTube. Patrick has a YouTube channel too. Who's Patrick? I was shocked by the Fox actually let him stay. Yeah. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if a guy like me and Tucker Carlson had a show together, like Joe Rogan? You know, and I'm not being arrogant. I'm just saying, just imagine that. That would just be, because we have the same opinions about things, but we come to them from different places. He comes from a wealthy background, wealthy, you know, he has a backstory. Patrick Bet David is a full-time name. Patrick Bet Davis. David. All right. Yeah, all right, Alex. Cool. But we have the same opinions about stuff. Troy, that's right. So that would make a pretty awesome show, like, you know, the newscaster and the convict, or some, you know, ex-convict and the newscaster. That would be pretty badass, you know. I'm going to jump in the shower, hit a sack, and Shirley. Good night, my friend. God bless you as well. Never really met Booger Mitch, but I heard all good things. Yeah, he was a great dude. He was just a great dude, you know, and I'm glad he got to live a little bit of life when he got out. He had a bit of dementia, I heard, but yeah. I hear the dogs. So I'm in the sunroom, you know, just for you guys who don't know. I mean, all you guys know, we got a house. We live in Arizona. So this is my little art room. Hey, Mitch, did you hear about life with... I didn't hear about that, but so you see, that's a screen, right? So when it's hot or it's cold, you know, I want to wall this off and put windows there, even if it's just big sheets of plexiglass. And then that's the garage over there. So, and then, yeah, that's the scooter I'm working on. I went to after party at the club. Yeah. Gordon Lightfoot was a hell of a singer. He was around when I was a kid, actually. You know what I mean? From Purdue, I'm from Dago, Mom. They call me up. So Mick's my homeboy, and so I'm going to tell you about Mick. You know, Mick's my homeboy. Mick was in prison, and I remember around 83, 84, he was in Folsom, and I heard about some things there, and then I heard he was in Tracy, and then I heard he was in federal prison, and then I heard he was in San Diego, you know, on the streets. And I have another homeboy that has a tattoo shop down there. He did down in Ocean Beach, Ace Tattoo Company. If you need a tattoo, please go there. And Mick would hang out there, help manage the shop, you know, and Jay Bird, shout out, what's up? Patrice Ben David, that's right, John Doe, Patrick Paddock. And so, you know, I had heard about him for years. Good night, Brian. And so I guess, you know, he watches YouTube and Mitch. What's up, Joe Allegra? Thank you. And he watched YouTube and got my phone number, and I was out working for the crime scene cleanup stuff, doing the homeless cleanouts, and I got a phone call. I said, "Hey, this is Mick from Dago," and I'm like, "What's up, man?" You know, and then we finally got to meet in real life, and that was pretty cool, you know. Guys from Dago are a different breed, man. I'm gonna tell you, everyone from Mick to, you know, you seen Whack, White Crip. You know, he grew up in a neighborhood. None of his homeboys are black. They're all Samoan and Asian and white, and they're all Crips, you know. So, I mean, I had Whack on there. Yeah, I remember when I was in prison, there was a blood. I think he was from Skyline, and his name was Flip. And he was black as coal, man. And there was some shit going on one time between him and the Bloods from L.A. and he came over, "Give me that fucking roll of tape." And I go, "All right," you know. And he was taping up a piece, man. He goes, fuck these dudes. I'm going to show them what Dago's all about. But one time there was some shit going on with the blacks and the whites, and he came over and asked for a shot of coffee or something. And I go, we're not supposed to be fucking with you black guys right now, Flip. And, he knew I didn't play that shit. But he goes, man, I'm not black. I go, what are you? And he goes, I'm from Dago. And, that's how San Diego's a little different, It's people from Dago right behind the bar. Yeah, Dago's a whole different crew, man. It's a cut above different stuff, The bullshit stops where other people might carry it forward. I don't know, Dago's just a trip. It's a cool car. I got some really good homeboys from there, and I'm glad I'm out in the world, and I got to meet quite a few of them, It's just, it's a badass shit, when I went to Tracy, I had a homeboy, Frank Mulholland. They call him a gentleman bandit, and he used to rob banks with a squirt gun. And one broad said she saw water dripping out the barrel of the gun, and they called him the gentleman bandit. And Frank Mulholland, rest in peace, he was a dope fiend till the day he died, and a gangster. But I drove up to Tracy, and he goes, you from Dago? And I go, yeah. And he goes, you smoke? And I go, no, I dip. He goes, what do you dip? And I said, Copenhagen. And I had hair then. And he says, all right, because you got a few days before you get your property and shit. And about a half hour later, he came and slid like 2 or 3 cans of Copenhagen under my door, and some shampoo, conditioner, soap, and 3 or 4 caps of weed, And he goes, there you go, homeboy. And that's how we got down, back in the day, Nowadays, when you roll up to prison, some guy might roll up and go, from Dago? Yeah, what do you got? They're going to ask you what you got. What'd you bring with you? Instead of asking you what you need, like we did in the old days, they ask you what you got, So it's hey, bro, gotta stop. That's right, Alex. Please contact me on my email, and you got it, MitchellHeartIntentions.com. I'd love to have you on the show, brother. For real. So things are different now, and it's kind of fucking sad, People used to look out for each other in the joint. That's right, Sean. So now, you go to the pen, it's like, what do you got? What can you do for us? Okay, you're that kind of guy. Then they look like some guy don't like you, and they want to use you up, whatever. I don't know. It's just, I got kind of callous towards people, man. But, I got kind of sore about shit, man. I didn't like it. And, but, I still had some good homies, man. Before I got out, I was in the CMC West Yards, the dorm. And 2 young homeboys there kind of impressed me. And one of them was Lucas Hooker. And I got there, he just got out of the hole. And this kid had juvenile diabetes. He had diabetes from his whole life, He was a heroin addict. And he had to have like 2 or 3 shots of insulin every day. He had diabetes. He was a diabetic his whole fucking life. And they used him to do a removal, And so when I got there, I said, I want to, who's here from Dago, And so he rolls up. I said, hey, look, from now on, if one of these motherfuckers tells you you have to remove somebody, you come and ask me. You come and tell me what somebody's telling you have to do. You don't do shit for these motherfuckers around. We're from Dago. We run our own motherfucking program. Fuck these dudes, And he was like, really? I go, yeah. And Jim Davis, YouTube name wants it offered to Tucker. And so later on, when all these assholes were like, I'm running the yard and my homeboy's fucking Popeye, this, that, and the other. I'm like, yeah, okay. I told Hooker, I said, hey, man, get me some knives. And Lucas brought me 3 or 4 pieces, and I put them on the yard and had one in the dorm. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? He was a good fucking youngster, man. He was always laughing and just everything was funny to him. He didn't give a fuck. He was a good homie. He got so many fucking write-ups. He became a level 4, and they kicked him out of there. He just didn't give a fuck. And then I had another youngster, a homeboy. He was from the ghetto, and Jr. He was a good fucking dude. He was a little short guy, worked out like a beast, and I tattooed his chest. Loved me for it. And I remember him, and he said, hey, brother, if you ever have a problem, let me know. I want you to go home, and I'll handle it. And I said, hey, bro, check this out. I'm not going home. I don't give a, fuck that. And he's like, I got you. You're going to go home. And he was right. Here I am. But I told this story, too, on the channel, And so one time this dude borrowed several books of stamps from me. I was a stamp hustler. I made $30,000 off stamps, but selling tobacco. But I loaned him a few books of stamps. He was from Malibu. He was buying the shot collars and all them guys weed and shit, and he was in debt. And I remember one time they come up and they're like, hey man, we're taking a collection for this guy. I forgot his fucking name. He was in debt and they were taking a collection. I said, hey, check this out, man. If you stab that motherfucker, I'll pay his whole debt. And they go, oh, man, you're fucked up. I go, no, you're fucked up. I remember seeing him on the yard and I was poking him in the fucking face. And I told him, you're going to pay me my shit or I'm going to kick your fucking teeth out and I'm going to take your glasses. New to the Hard Intentions family. How many guys are new? That's a good question, Mr. Wilson. Anyway, shot caller see me poking this guy in the chest and the face, and I told him, you're gonna pay me or I'm gonna kick your fucking teeth out, you fucking punk, you know what I mean? And so he'd been buying dope for all these guys. So the guy's walking up the hill, up the street, I was walking laps with JR and the homies and youngsters, and the guy goes, hey, Smiley, you got a minute? And JR put his fists up, and he stepped in front of me, and he goes, what do you want with my homeboy? I mean, serious as a motherfucker. And he already fucked up a couple dick guys in the dorm, my size. The guy goes, hey, it's not like that. And prior to that, though, this guy said, you bikers don't, he told me, bikers don't run this prison. Bikers don't run shit in here. I told him, yeah, that's cool. I got you. But so he learned right there that night who runs what, It's not that I'm a biker, it's that I'm from Dago, The Dago car's different, Yeah. And in that particular yard, there was some guys from San Luis Obispo that were pretty fucking solid. Jason and some other guys that were pretty solid, Irish. They actually got in that shot caller's face too and told him fucking do something lame, So guys that call shots in prison are usually fucking lames, unless they're willing to put in some work. Like some guys are, especially in level 4s. Lake Water, what's up, brother? Everything's good, art of survival. But they say prison is a microcosm of the world out here. Yeah, the needle, yeah. So, it is a microcosm. The same things that go on out here in the world go on in prison. It's just that in there, it's a lot more serious. That's right, Big Mick. The Dago car is different, but, what goes on in prison, man, is the same shit that goes on out here. Right now we have a president making policy for us that I don't agree with, people don't agree with. Well, what are you going to do about it? I mean, unless you're willing to step up. All right, Blakewater. What's up, Marvelous Minds? How you doing, brother? Yeah, Daniel. Hey, if you guys haven't checked out Marvelous Minds, please do. And if you need a tattoo and you're in the Los Angeles area, that's right, Zach. Check him out. Give him a buzz. Marvelous Inc. Daniel. He's on YouTube. He's on Instagram. Check him out. He tattoos really well. He's in Los Angeles area, Matavia. Hats off, brother. Good to have you check in. You know we're out here in Arizona. So, yeah. So, you know, prison's the same as the fucking streets. It's no different, you know. That's right. Appreciate you too, my brother. I got nothing but love for you, man. You know that. We went to East LA. We went to Matavia. That's right. And we saw him when he took us out to dinner. We had a good Mexican meal and hung out with him in his house, in his tattoo shop. And I see that. Thank you, Alex. And I'm going to tell you something. Daniel, Marvelous Inc., Marvelous Minds, he's the real shit. He's a good motherfucker. And that's prison talk. You know, we say that's a good motherfucker right there. And that's him. He's a good dude. And, you know, I knew one of his homeboys back in, when I first went to prison, Wheato. I knew his homeboy Wheato back in the day. But, yeah, if you need a tattoo, check him out. Daniel from Marvelous Inc. Oh. Well, it looks like Kel won the raffle. I'm going to have to notify him, let him know. I just wanted to check in, man. I wanted to let you guys know. I know that, Mike. Hey, Mick, what was that young skinny guy I met from Purdue? He liked our Viking shirts. I always wanted to send him one. I forgot his name. But yeah, I want to check in. I wanted to do the raffle. I want to let you guys know this weekend we're gonna go see Big Mex, who's oh yeah, I wouldn't mind being on the soft white underbelly. Hey Daniel, if you can get me on there, please do. That'd be cool. We're gonna go over to Las Vegas this weekend. We're gonna see Big Mex. If you guys know, I had my 60th birthday party at his house. I've been over to his pad at least 3 or 4 times. Justin, thanks for coming on, brother. Big Mex has been following us. He's got the video with Herbie, the Volkswagen Bug that he restored. I am a biker. I do ride motorcycles. I ride the shit out of them. I have an Indian motorcycle that I fabricated fenders for and started painting, and yeah. So yeah, you know, I'm a motorcycle rider. I guess you could say I'm an outlaw motorcycle rider, but I am not in a motorcycle club. I do have friends that are, though. I am not an affiliate. Hey, look. Family. Welcome to the family, Justin. I'm a motorcycle rider. I have friends that are in motorcycle clubs, and they are my friends. I did a video one time about friends and this and that, and I said, you know, if your friends don't know who your friends are, then they're not your friends. You know, if you have friends and you're not able to say, hey, Joey over here, Mikey over there, we went and did this and we went and did that. Yeah, they're my friends. If you can't share who your friends are with people who claim to be your friends, then they're not your friends. That's right, Justin. Welcome aboard, brother. You know, I have friends in motorcycle clubs. Some of them I met in prison. Some of them Welcome Rise with the Kings of Cal. That's right, Justin. Yeah, you meet guys in prison, man, and you see things in prison that you don't see on the street, and guys from different walks of life and different motorcycle clubs are getting along because bikers in prison in California are kind of rare now, and it's a different mindset, if you're a motorcycle outlaw. And I know some guys from Texas that are great people, man. Uh, I talked to one and he says, it's all geography. We're all pretty much the same. It's just where you're from. That's the difference. But I love motorcycles. I love the motorcycle lifestyle, and I don't know how to word it, but I never knew them. I didn't know that either. But when you see you know 8, 10, 20 guys riding down the freeway at 90 miles an hour, 3 feet apart from each other, front wheel to back wheel. It's a pretty awesome sight. It's an amazing sight, and you know what I'm saying. Donnie Boy from Denver, respects, brother. Thank you for tuning in. Uh, so I think the motorcycle club lifestyle is amazing. I went to prison at 17 years old, and I got out when I was 57, 56, 57. I can't remember now. I'm sorry, but it's. I missed my shot at it. If I would have had a shot at it, I probably would have took it. But instead, I went to prison. And so uh, I still have admiration and respect for guys that ride motorcycles and motorcycle clubs, their camaraderie, and their lifestyle and the way they ride motorcycles, and it's a badass fucking deal, man. And so nothing but respect for that. I ride motorcycles with guys who've been to prison. Some have been in motorcycle clubs or not anymore, but they still have respect of that motorcycle club they were in. But these guys have been to prison. Hit the like, please. That's right. Yes, I knew them all. The guys still. And so they they got their lives together. A lot of them go to NA. A lot of them have their own businesses. A lot of them work, make decent money, own homes, and we ride the shit out of our motorcycles. The first ride I did with these guys, we did 3,400 miles in 9 days. Matter of fact, went through Arizona, and that's what kind of got me hooked. But those are the guys I ride with, and we're not a club, but we love each other, and we take care of each other, and we look out for each other. And even if that just means I got a problem, I got to get off my chest, we're there for each other. So it's 13 months, Mr. Wilson View, that's right. And you're 3 years in prison, if any. My favorite moment, I did 38 years in prison. My favorite moment, I was just talking about it. Really, that was one of my most favorite moments. No, I'm definitely not in a prison gang. I'm a biker, so one of my very favorite moments was when I was in Tracy DVI prison. Thank you, Mr. Wilson View. Thank you. Yeah, it's cool to talk to other people. This is a Hard Intentions family, brother. This is the Hard Intentions family right here. So if you see somebody on here you want to chat with, fuck, chat with them, man. That's what this chat's all about. But one of my favorite times in prison was, I'm going to tell you something. Tracy had good food. Pro Am makes the meme. That's right. The Devil's Highway in Arizona. I've never heard of it. Where is it? So we had good food in Tracy. They had ribs. They had good spaghetti, good Mexican food. Yeah, I got like 400 something videos, bro. Anyways, we had good food. We had great job. We had great hobby program. We had a great weight pile. We had a swimming pool, man. We used to go out in that swimming pool and go swimming. Take off Daytona. That's right. So, and plus I had good friends there like Booger and some other guys. And so that was one of, I did 5 years in Tracy and um, I enjoyed the hell out of it, really. Um, it was a good time. It was a good time. And there was some good people. And there was a little bit of violence and shit, but it was a good prison. Uh, I interviewed a guard I knew there, Silva. He's retired. Oh yeah, the grub in Tracy was great. So yeah, I met a lot of really cool people there, man. I had a good time. But one of my cellies there I met on the yard was the guy I lived with when I got my case, Kenny Prophet, a horse. If any of you guys from Humboldt County are watching, if you know Kenny Prophet, horse, please put him in touch with me. He's like, man, we live to get Jaybird. I need my people. Thank you, Jaybird. JoJo from AC, what's up? Respects, brother. Yeah, we had a swimming pool in Tracy. It was technically called a reserve reservoir. But later on, after 93, they filled it in with dirt. The guy at plant operations, the chief of plant operations, he hated it, man. So he finally got him to shut it down. They filled it in with dirt. Yeah, I had a built-in swimming pool, man. And it was a big pool. What was that guy? Pacheco. He was the chief of plant operations, which is maintenance. And so he had to fucking maintain that swimming pool. And he hated it. And he hated us. So he finally convinced a warden to shut it down and fill it in with dirt. So, and that was the last year it was open, was 93, the year I finished swimming in the pool. I think May, I went to Donovan. So that was the last year it was open. Which is fucked up, because that was a fun time. Man, that swimming pool was fun. But, yeah. Prison wasn't all bad. There were times, Spartan, things are good, brother. No one ever drowned. It's a treacherous border crossing. All right. How did your Cody fans feel about you guys? Oh, we all got the same term, bro. And to be honest with you, one of my co-defendants is a dropout piece of shit rat, and the other one's still in prison. And we actually we haven't talked since sentencing. So, well, they don't really give a fuck. If they gave a fuck, they would. The deal was a package deal, and so if one guy didn't want to take the deal, none of us could. So, otherwise, I would have got 6 years for manslaughter. So, you think that committing a felony with someone, especially a felony like murder, that you would become tighter with them, you become closer with them. In all actuality, you don't. Guys start blaming and pointing fingers, and it's a fucking ugly process. So, but yeah, there were times in prison, man, when like when we had family visits, I would go out on a family visit in San Quentin for 72 hours. Tracy, they were 48 hours. I could go out there with my wife and kids and eat food from the street and watch TV and just relax. I called it a vacation from hell. I could sit in the yard and eat ice cream and drink soda with my friends after we got out of the swimming pool in Tracy. Or, we could go out to the yard and watch the San Quentin Giants play hardball against a team from the street in a 40 and older league. There were times in prison when it wasn't that bad. Bowser. But don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean we liked it. We didn't like it. We hated it. But we knew we were there. And in my case, at one point, I just realized, hey, I'm probably never going to get out. Matter of fact, with Booger, at 91, I was walking down the hallway and I go, Booger, I don't think they're ever going to let us out. And he thought for a minute. He goes, I think you're right. And so we just come to the realization that we were never going to get out. And so we made the most of it. What more can you do? So there were times when I sat there and I thought, man, I really wish I could get out. And, you shed tears over your loved ones. The most down part of doing your time. I don't know. But, there is times when you sat there and shed tears, man, because, you miss your loved ones, you miss your life. And I don't care how fucking tough you are, guys. The toughest guy in the yard, you can't tell me he never shed a tear about his situation. Yeah, some of them were, Zach. We need to get you on a water bike this summer. It's getting hot out here. And you are super close to the river, man. About 30 minutes from you and at Willow Beach. Jay Brown, are you in Arizona? If you are, brother, please get in touch with me. Yeah, there's the pool and all the YAs. Jay Brown, I would love to get on the water with my wife and you. And if you're out here, it's Mitch at heartintentions.com. It's Mitch Smiley790 on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook too, but it's the one that has a picture of a motorcycle painting. Get in touch with me. I'd love to hook up with you. I'd love to hit the river, for real. I have some friends in Havasu. Willow Beach is there. I have some friends in Topak. I'm all about it. And guys will tell you, like Daniel, Jay Brown, that's right. Like Daniel from Marvelous Minds. Brent Ross, he's out in Minnesota now. When he's in Los Angeles, Mick, everybody. I met several people off this channel. Will, our brother Will up in Placerville, we met through this channel. Social media is not social unless you meet the people you communicate with on it, So I'm down. I love the river. I love water. I used to go swimming in the American River when there's ice floating in it. Her and helping out in the video. Man, she's in there editing a video right now. I did a interview with somebody, and John, Upper Darby here. Good luck with the job. Come a little late. Thank you, John. Drinking at bars, man, they don't mix. Cool, man. My wife works in Kingman at the medical center. At Kingman, yeah, she works at the hospital there, bro. So I go up there. Matter of fact, when Dave came out here, I took him to the tack shop, the little bar and grill type thing, and we had some burgers. I love that place. They got a 3/4 pound burger there with egg and all kinds of shit on it. It's pretty badass. Yeah. Kingman's right up the road. So you know where we're at, John. That's right. So, Joe Legger, enjoy the hell out of your channel, Mitch. Good night. Good night, brother. I gotta say good night, C. Wilson. I gotta say good night here in a minute too. I wanted to have the raffle. Kel from Canada, you won the raffle, and we're gonna go see Big Mex. If you guys haven't seen Big Mex, check him out. He's got the Bug Herbie. I'm working on the painting. That's John Shoup doing a burnout on a Dirty Bird Customs bike. Look, life is good. You know, I get a lot of information about what's going on in the world with all this digital currency, the war in Ukraine, all kinds of bullshit, dude. And you know, I'm pressing forward. I'm not letting none of that shit. Good night, Raymond. I'm not letting none of that shit slow me down or hold me back, man. And I suggest that you guys out there in the world, especially from the Heart Intentions family, fuck the news. Don't watch the news. That's right, Big Brian. Thank you, brother. Thank you for everything. Brian's a Marine Corps veteran, over 20 years. So let's give him a shout out. Uh, you know, politicians are going to fuck the world up, but we're not. We're going to keep pressing forward, and we're going to keep fucking doing it hard, right? That's right. We're going to ride motorcycles, hot rod cars, boats, jet skis. We're going to work, take care of our family. We love you, Brian. Jason Menifee, good night, brother. We love the Marines. We love our armed forces in America, but especially Marines, because they're bad motherfuckers. And, yeah, that's the bottom line. That's right, Jay Bird. To hell with Mr. Depends. That's Bowser, the goat killer. Doing it hard, Carl. What's up, brother? Por vida. Well, I got an Indian, bro. I don't mind having bags, but I don't like the fairing, you know? Semper Fi, Brian Wood. That's right, brother. You guys get out there and do it hard. Big Mex is coming out to Vegas. He wants to treat us. He said, I'm going to Vegas. I want you guys to come. I'll take care of your hotel, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to go see Big Mex. Def Carolina, appreciate you. Thank you, Jay Bird. I'm going to do it live with Big Max. Hopefully he'll get on camera. If not, you know, we'll do it live from Vegas. You guys take care. Get out there and do it hard. We love you. Thanks for you guys at Rubber Rob, Texas. Thank you, everybody. 5 people got in the raffle. Good night, John Boy. 5 people got in the raffle for the Angry Yard Dog. Kel from Canada won. Happy Cinco de Mayo, brothers. That's right. Resin. Mick. Take care out there, man. We love you guys. And we'll be checking in from Vegas next with Big Mex and the wife. You know, they got a bowling alley at South Point Hotel and Casino. They also have a movie theater. If you're anywhere near Vegas, you feel like going out having a good time, go to South Point Hotel. I love you guys. Get out there and do it hard. Thank you for tuning in, folks.